As promised, I'm about to give you access to one of our live coaching sessions at Easton University. If you pay attention and you take notes on what I'm about to share with the group during this live coaching session, I'm going to make this commitment to you. You will close deals this week. This may even be the best month, best quarter that you've ever had if you simply put into practice what I'm going to walk the group through on eastonuniversity.com right now. This is the same type of material that our certified master consultants get on our on-demand training. These are the same type of live coaching calls that we have every single week. If you think it makes sense to finally get yourself access and you've got questions, call us anytime, 800-628-1456. And I'm serious about helping you take your career to that next level. I'm serious about helping your team. Let me give you my mobile number. You can call me or text me anytime. It's 720-660-3202. But without further ado, let's jump into the coaching session. I want you to pay attention because we're about to change your life. What is up? What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Good to see you.
What's up, man?
What is up? All right, get ready to unmute yourselves because we're going to have an awesome session right now for a few minutes. I'm not going to tell you guys what the topic is, all right? I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to get a couple answers from you. You're going to answer me when I ask you, so get ready to unmute yourself. And then after I ask you those questions, I'm going to ask you what you think the topic of our coaching is about. And I guarantee you this, I promise you this. If you pay attention, if you let what we're about to talk about together, you and I, sink into your mind, you're going to close some deals this week. You're going to close some deals over the next 2 weeks. You might have the best month you've had in 2 or 3 years if you are open to what I'm about to suggest you. Okay, so here's the first question I have for you before I tell you the topic. Is the world a different place now, today, than it was 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 months ago? Is the world a different place? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, good. I love it. Boom, we're cooking. Or is our clients' world, our customers' world, our prospects' world different? We just established that the world is totally different. Is our clients' world, our prospects' world, our customer world different today, right now, than it was maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Give me some examples of what's different about our customers' world. What's changed in the world? What's going on? What do we have going on right now?
Fear of inflation.
Fear of inflation. I like that one.
Actually, the fear of going into a recession because of the inflation.
Yeah, fear of recession. I like that, right? The market has totally changed. Their expenses have changed, have they not?
Yes.
Is it easier now to find good quality labor than it was before? So people in their businesses to employ, is that an easier thing for them or is that a more difficult thing for them right now?
More difficult.
More difficult. Anyone else want to fire, rapid fire round? What's different today than it was maybe even 3 months ago or 6 months ago?
Uncertainty in general. People are just uncertain about what's happening. What's going to happen.
Yep, uncertainty in general. I love that. That is a great answer. There's uncertainty and things have changed. The way they're doing business has changed. Let me make sure I get my numbers right here. I'm going to ask you another question. Let's say you had, because I know you guys are all super rich, because you're on Easton University, you're killing it in your sales, and just in your personal portfolio, you had 100,000 shares of Netflix laying around. Okay? And let's say on January 3rd, I called you and I was like, hey, I'd really love to buy your shares of Netflix off you, those 100,000 shares of Netflix off you, and I'll give you $400 a share on January 3rd. And I'm not expecting you guys to know what was going on with the Netflix stock. I'll tell you what was going on with the Netflix stock on January 3rd. On January 3rd, Netflix stock closed at $597 a share. So if I called you on January 3rd and said, hey, I'll give you $400 a share for your 100,000 shares, what would you have told me? No.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Not interested, right? Okay, hold on a second. Anyone know what Netflix is at right now?
think they're like 40% down or more, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I believe the last time I checked, it was yesterday afternoon I checked, $178 a share. So let's say I called you back today with the exact same message. Hey, I'm calling to see if it makes sense for you to sell me those shares of Netflix you had, the 100,000 shares of Netflix you had for $400 a share. What would your answer be?
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Are you insane? Absolutely. Oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay, by the way, if you had sold me those shares January 3rd, you would have taken a loss of $19,700,000. If today, because the market has changed, because the world has changed, same message, same phone call, if I reached out to you with that same message of $400 a share, you would make a profit of $22,200,000. That's a big difference. A loss of 19 million or a profit of 22 million. And the way you would accept my phone call would be pretty different, would it not?
Yeah.
Your interest in this conversation would be pretty different, would it not?
Absolutely.
What's the topic we're going to talk about today? Does anyone want to take a stab in the dark?
Opportunity costs.
Opportunity costs, I like it, but there's something more important. There's something more important. There's something wrong with us as salespeople. There's something that is wrong in our brain that I'm going to fix right now for all of us. Anyone else want to take a guess of what subject this has?
It's proposition value?
I like that. Was that Lars?
No.
Oh.
Yes, it's time to change your message.
Time to change it. Actually, no, it's not time to change our message. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our pipelines, okay? Because this is the mistake that you make, that I make, we all make in sales and business development. The last time we had a conversation with somebody, the last time we had a message going out to somebody, whenever the last moment was that we spoke with them, the mistake that we make as salespeople is we freeze that opportunity in our pipeline. We're like, what is that guy, Frozone, the superhero guy? Yo, and we freeze it, right? So if Lars tells me 3 months ago, hey, you know, I'm not interested in sales training, it's not a fit for my team, in my head, the last conversation I had with Lars was, he's not interested, it's not a fit. Or let's say I talked to Lars a month ago and Lars says, Matt, you know, this really isn't important to us. We've got a lot of things going on. A new marketing, let's say I'm selling Lars a marketing campaign. New marketing campaign's just not important to me right now. I really appreciate your time. Can you circle back to me after the first of the year? Hopefully Lars is skillful and says, no problem, we'll be here when you need sales and leads and top line revenue, right? Leaving that door wide open to circle back. But here's the problem. We're freezing whatever that person told you. I don't need sales training. We've got a lot going on. I don't need a marketing campaign. I don't need a new website right now. And we've frozen that. The same way that we would. Now, how crazy would it be when we think, and this is why I brought up the Netflix deal, if financial planners had that same philosophy? What if hedge fund managers have that same philosophy? They would either go out of business or go to prison or both. Because the market changes every damn day. Our world is changing every damn day. And yeah, there's some major changes going on in our world right now. Recession, uncertainty, can't get good labor. But these changes are still taking place. So for us to think that our pipeline is the only thing on planet Earth that's going to remain unchanged is malpractice on our part. It's malpractice on our part for our customers, for us to think that our customers' world has not changed. It has. It's malpractice on our part to think that they still want to table that conversation until the first of the year. You need to be a good doctor. Just like a doctor, if all of a sudden my tests came back and my blood pressure was 300 over 800, or just like a hedge fund manager, if I had 100,000 shares of Netflix and they started to see it tank, wish my people called me because I had a bunch of Netflix, which is why I bring that up. Maybe they should have called me and said, hey, we should reposition your portfolio based on the new information that I have. Okay? So where does this all apply to us, and how am I, you just promised me, Matt, how am I going to get a deal this week? 2 deals over the next 3 weeks. Have this be the best month I've had in the last 13, 14 months. Here's why. What I'm going to ask you to do right here, right now, today, is I'm going to ask you to unfreeze your pipeline. I'm going to ask you to take the damn blinders off and take a full sweep of your pipeline the same way a hedge fund manager would take a look at their portfolio. The same way a doctor or a physician, based on new information about their patient, maybe their patient was on a medication, that they're finding out now people are dropping dead when they're on this medication. Probably be a good idea for the patient to follow up with that doctor. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is I'm going to ask you to take a sweep of your pipeline this week. Like, pause any other stuff unless it is mission critical, unless you have a set appointment with somebody, unless you have a contract that you need to get out, unless you have a customer that has something really pressing. I'm going to ask you right now, starting today, to just put everything else in the back seat and say, hey, starting right now, based on new information, we're in a new economy right now, there's a lot of stuff going on, I'm going to reach out to every single person in my pipeline, whether they told me to call them back after the first of the year or not. Now, if you were going to touch every person in your pipeline, there's a number of ways you can do it. You can drive out there, physically meet them. You can email them, you can call them. What is going to be now, based on this new information, based on the world being different, what's going to be the least effective way for you to contact them? Somebody tell me what's the least effective. What's going to give us the least amount of results?
Email.
Email. I love it. Why is email going to give us the least amount of results?
No personal contact.
No personal contact. Why else?
Written word may be misinterpreted.
Written word may be misinterpreted. Is that BJ?
Yes.
BJ, you're brilliant. Also, BJ, I cannot have a bi-directional dialogue with you. So it's really difficult for me. What is an email good for? Almost nothing. But this is how salespeople use email, and they all use it. No offense, you guys. This is what we all do. 97% of the time, if I tell you without giving you this warning message right now, hey, circle back and just check in with all your pipeline, 97% of salespeople are going to do that via email. And the email is going to say, probably even in the title, by the way, you're killing yourself if you do this, just following up, just checking in. Okay? So we're not going to follow up with anybody. We're not going to check in with anybody. Okay? We're not going to email anybody. It's not worth your time. I'm going to say that again because it's important. Even though email's great if you're really lazy and you want to sit on your couch with a bag of Cheetos in your boxer shorts or your robe or whatever and write a few emails, that's great. If you just want to feel like you're busy, that's great, but you're not going to get any results. Okay? Here's the other thing. If you're able to walk out, if you're able to drive and talk to people, I like that, but I don't think that's a great investment of your time. I think there's a time and a place for a one-on-one meeting, but I would like all of us to sweep our entire pipeline. Everybody, and I would go, if you can, hopefully you've been tracking this, I would go 18 months out. So anybody I have any sort of communication with over the last 18 months that has not bought from me, or anybody that has, that there's a potential for me to sell them more, I'm going to contact every single person. So step number one in your homework is you got to get the list of those people. Okay, now I want you to call them. What do you think you're going to say when you call them? Because I'm going to tell you there's going to be two things. I'm going to put guardrails on this project for you. I'm going to say you can only say one of two things. Does anyone want to take a guess at what those two things would be? Or instead of that, tell me what an unskilled person would say when they called them. What would an unskillful, not skillful salesperson say when they called them to check in with them?
They would say, I'm calling you to check in with you or circle back. If you were skilled, you'd say, hey, it's Dave from Delicious Marketing. I got an idea on something. I'd like to get your opinion on it. Can you give me a call back when you have a chance?
Exactly, 100%. And Dave just hit one of the things I'm giving you permission to say. But let's go back to what Dave said on unskilled. Hey, Matt, it's Dave. And literally, we don't realize we sound like this, but we do. Hey, Matt, it's Dave. Well, I'll switch the names because I don't want to make it seem like Dave would ever sound like this because he's super professional. Hey, Dave, Matt Easton over here at Easton University. Just following up. I know it's been some time since we've talked, and I'm just checking in with you. Dude, I've got a recession going on. I can't hire anybody. I ain't got time to call this person back. And as Dave said, listen to the difference here. Hey Dave, Matt Easton with Easton University. We had talked a couple months back. You know, something just came up. I was having a meeting with some of our other clients in your sector, and they're seeing something that is very, very different what's going on. I've got an idea. I want to run it by you, see if you're seeing this, and I've got some ideas that might be able to help you with this. Could you give me a call on my mobile 720-660-3202? Okay? Now, I added some words to that. If you want the very basic version of that, it's this. Let them know who you are. Remind them of how you're connected. Do not assume that they're going to remember you, even though if you've had 5 demos and 6 meetings. We're not going to assume they remember us. So the most basic version of that message is, hey Dave, Matt Easton with Easton University. We had spoke back in April. Hey, I've got an idea that I would love to get your opinion on. Could you call me on my mobile, 720-660-3202? Okay, here's the other message. That's your first one. You've got an idea you want to get their opinion on. They're going to call you back. Here's the second one. Wherever you left it in your pipeline, right? We're going to present this to their other partner. Let's say last time you talked to, Dave talked to me. I said, oh, well, Heather is the vice president of our company. She's going to need to look at this, Dave, before we do a website. It's not a good time for us right now. Could you circle back with me after the first of the year? If you know what that next step was, get it in front of Heather, sign the agreement. You guys build their website. You do an AdWords campaign for them. You do a social campaign for them. Whatever it was, I'm also giving you permission to fill in that blank and simply call them right now and say, hey, Dave, Matt Easton, founder of Easton University, I'm calling to see if it makes sense to give your team access to the sales training. Or, hey, Matt, Dave Calafiore here with Delicious Marketing. I'm calling to see if it makes sense for us to get Lead Bubble up on the website. I'm giving you permission to say that. Why? Because things have changed. Just like you got to take those blinders off. The same way as if I had offered you $400 a share for your Netflix in January and it wasn't important to you, the world has changed. Today you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm all over that. And like a product like Lead Bubble. Wow, they can't find people. They've got labor. What a great idea. Hey, you know, here's what our clients are seeing. It's very difficult to find that kind of lower level. I don't want to call it unskilled, but let's just say it's the people in your business answering the phone, welcoming customers. If you're anything like most of our clients, those people are asking for more money. You might have to cut some headcount to be able to compete on an hourly basis, or worse, notice I said or worse, you can't find any. Yeah, we're running into that right now. Got it. Does it make sense for us to get Lead Bubble in here so we can basically clone you and have you virtually pop up on the website? Well, yeah, now it does. This same person that told you 3 months ago to call them back after the first of the year had a full labor force then. That same person that called you 3 months ago and told you to call them back after the first of the year was paying 30% less for their raw materials, their raw inputs to their business, their labor. And now there's press for cash, okay? And all of us, whether it's Lead Bubble or sales training or whatever, we all fix things. We all help people. So I want you to call every single person in your pipeline that was at one point, or even the ones that told you, no, it's not a fit. Because just like you would have told me January 3rd to go pound sand when I offered you $400 a share for your Netflix stock, today you're going to be like, Lord, thank you. You've sent me an idiot that's going to overpay for this stock. Right? Your value changes the same as the market changes. Their interest changes the same as the market changes. And for us to sit around and wait for new opportunities to do business with when we have an entirely new market is stupid on our part. It's malpractice on our part. I'm asking you this, please pause what you are doing. Call every single person in your pipeline, which is going to bring me to my last point, and then I'll open it up to Q&A. How long do you guys think it's going to take to make each of these phone calls? Be honest with me. Give me a number. Somebody give me a number. How long would it take you? Would it take you 15 minutes? Would it take you 20 minutes? Would it take you 5 minutes? How much time would it take you to call each of these people?
It's quick.
When you
In most cases, you're going to get a voicemail and you're going to leave a 30-second message.
Boom.
And hopefully,
That's right. Dave with all the right answers today. A lot of times people will tell me, oh, well, that's going to take me at least 10 minutes because I got to look them up. I got to figure out where they're at in the pipeline. And then, I'm going to call them. David is absolutely right. I'm just going to tell you, if you're really skillful and you have your scripts in front of you, which you should, I want you to print out both of those scripts. I've got an idea I wanted to get your opinion on. Literally write your own mobile number out in front of you. Because just like an NFL quarterback, okay, you want to take as much pressure off of yourself as possible. You know how in the NFL they have those wristbands? They know those plays. It's their job. They get paid $10 million to know what X-ray 49 means, okay? But they need to relook at that because they know they've got a middle linebacker that's coming to take their head off. So that's like their security blanket, right? I want you to have a security blanket. Write out those 2 scripts. They're short scripts. It's going to keep you on rails. David is absolutely right when he said about 30 seconds, okay? I've timed this over 10,000 calls. If you have the script, it's 47 seconds on average to get through the dial. And of course, they're going to send you to voicemail and leave your message. And your message is going to be about 12 seconds long, which is great. By the way, numbers wise, if you just want to benchmark yourself, you never want to leave a message over 20 seconds. 12 seconds is great. Why? For 2 reasons. Number 1, it's short, it's compressed, it's tight. We're not leaving a sales pitch on the voicemail. Okay, and number 2, when they pull it up on their phone, everybody reads them now, right? Like if Dave called me after this, I'm busy. I've got another training after this. I'm going to read what Dave said. And if Dave talks for 20 seconds, I'm going to have to go through. So if Dave talked for 13 seconds, I can read that very tight, very clear, very compressed. Hey, Matt, Dave Calafiore with Delicious Marketing. Something just came up. We've got a lot of our other clients that do sales training. I've got an idea I wanted to get your opinion on. Can you call me on my mobile and whatever Dave's mobile number is, okay? So it should not take you a ton of time to do this. Can you guys trust me?
Hey, Matt, I think another lesson to learn here, too. If there's any of you who are watching who are saying, I don't have data on my previous calls, start doing that stuff. Start putting notes in a CRM or a Google Sheet or something so you can refer back to this stuff, because that's going to actually even make your calls shorter, too, when you can just go into Pipedrive and pull up that contact and read the transcripts or notes from your last call. If you don't have that stuff, you're kind of screwed.
Yes.
If you're not doing that, start doing that.
Yes, because that's going to easily, remember what we said, the second option was for you to fill in the blank, okay? But this does not eliminate the second option. It just makes it less sizzle to it. Because if I know that Dave, let's say Dave knows my wife's name is Heather, okay? And the last time we talked, he said, Heather needs to look at this, but we're swamped because we're opening an office in Miami and she's heads down in that, call me after the first of the year. It's very easy for David to fill in the blank and say, hey Matt, Dave Calafiore with Delicious Marketing, calling to see if it makes sense to get this in front of Heather. Okay, notice what I'm not saying. I know there's been a lot of changes in the industry and you had told me to call you back after the first of the year, but perhaps, maybe, I don't know. Okay, you're not going to do any of that. Trust me, if I had offered you $400 for your stock that's now $187 a share, I don't need to go, I know there's been a lot of changes in the industry and I know that I really want to help you. You are here to help, okay? You're here to offer them a solution, okay? So if you don't have the data that David just spoke of, I'm telling you right now, you could probably 3-4x your career by taking notes. So just start taking notes right now, but don't let it stop you from sweeping your account, because I guarantee you, each of you, there is at least one deal that you're going to close this week. I promise you. Today is what? Tuesday? If you start making the calls today, you will have a deal closed by Friday. Because there is somebody sitting out there that's like, man, I am in a ton of pain, and expecting them to remember you, your product, whatever it was that you were selling them, as the way for them to alleviate their pain, solve their problem, or get them what they need is pretty damn naive. Okay? Even if they figure that out, they're going to call your competition. They're not going to call you. It is your job to follow up with them. Start right now making the calls. It should take you, I'm going to set the bar really low for you. Call it 3 minutes a call. By the way, you can do it with one arm tied behind your back and an old school 1980s rotary dial phone in 3 minutes. Okay? But in 3 minutes then, here's the other tip I want to give you. Compartmentalize this time, which means you're putting your phone down for an hour. You're not taking other calls for an hour. You're not going to lunch. You're not checking your TikTok or your Facebook or your Instagram for 1 hour. In that 1 hour, if it takes you 3 minutes to make a call, you're going to be able to get at least 20 of these done. Okay? So I want you to set time aside. I'm giving you permission to kick out every other priority until you get this done. Sweep your pipeline right now, today. Your 2 messages are, does it make sense to blank? Fill in the blank, get this in front of the board, set up a demo, sign the agreement, have us do blank, show this to Heather, whatever it is. Or, you know, I was thinking about you this morning. I've got an idea. Something just came up. I've got an idea that I'd love to get your opinion on. Can you give me a call on my mobile? They're going to call you back. You're going to find they're going to give you a big hug, just like you were going to overpay for their Netflix stock. What questions can I answer for you guys? There you have it. Now you know how to sweep your pipeline, how to re-engage those opportunities. It's up to you. The ball is in your court to take action. I promise you, if you do, you will see results. If you have any questions at all on getting yourself access to Easton University, we want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. You can reach the corporate headquarters at 800-628-1456. Again, let me give you my mobile. I'd love to talk to you personally, 720-660-3202. This is the type of training you're going to have access to. These are the live calls that you're going to be able to join every single week. I want to help you. I want to see you get better. I can't help you if you don't have access to Easton University. So let me know. Does it make sense to get you access? I look forward to talking to you soon.